Hello to the chicos and the chicas. Today I have got some funky chess game arena for you that is going to change your life, or at least will put a smile on your face for a day, because now I'm going to analyze a game by a legend and a friend, Dr. Professor El Gambito de Bertin. It's hard to say. 21 Hanji, rapid, and his opponent, Jeffro, 34 in the black trunks, 2000. And El Gambito de Bertin, correctly known as the Tindergirls on Twitch, is throwing at his opponent the Morra Gambit, immediately indicating that he has got no desire whatsoever to take a single prisoner. And that is exactly the type of chess that we would like to see. And by the way, this is a little bit of a counter video to the last one I published, which at the time of me recording it is still not published, by the way, about the Morphy chess principles, because boy, is our friend with the white piece is going to do this to the highest standards. Watch this. C4, immediately conquering the center like a champ, and Queen A5 is borderline blunderous. Because of Bishop D2, and now we have got two pieces hanging. It is a slight blemish that Black is not exactly playing the best chess of all times, but hey, whatevs. Now note that A3 is an attractive looking move, and I would perhaps consider it even, but it doesn't necessarily have the threat of taking this right off the bat, because this pawn, which is a rook, is hanging on A1. Then again, lots of exchange sack scenarios are known when the queen will have no escape route. But anyway, we instead opted for D5, gaining even more space in the center. And of course, E6 is met by D6, completely shutting down the development of the bishop. And this wedge always has that extra benefit that it disconnects the two wings from one another. So there is no clear way to transition pieces from one side to the next. Knight C6, Knight F3, developing like a champ. G6, Knight C3. I really love the fact how El Gambito de Bertin, I said it first time correctly today, is not really trying to do this and winning the piece at all costs, but instead he mobilizes the army and tries to strike with a fully developed army. And look at that beauty. I mean, if you look at this position, surely you would say that there is no way that a 2000 would play a game like this. But this is what it is, ladies and gents. Things can easily escalate when we misplay an opening, which is, by the way, just a little side note here, because I see this theory popping up on social media more and more nowadays, is why when you see things like, oh, you shouldn't study openings before you are like 2000, is just utter nonsense. One of the worst piece of chess advice you can get to someone is to not to study openings. It's not about studying openings that is bad. It's the brain dead memorization of myriads of moves without understanding what you do is what's bad. Learning openings is fundamentally important to become a good chess player, because learning openings means understanding opening principles. You can't understand opening principles without studying the openings. That's why they are called opening principles. Anyway, Knight B5 coming in from C7. Little Matutsky already there. Knight A6 is covering it. Just give me uno secundo. And then Bishop F6. Love the dark square domination. Absolutely beautiful across the board, left to right, queen side to center to king side, everywhere gaping black holes. And yeah, it's like the Swiss cheese analogy. And if you look at it, what's really cool about this position and makes me very excited is that two minor pieces, no more, absolutely dominate an entire army. How good is that? Rook G8, Knight G5. If you want to know the exact divide, by the way, we are 7.5 up here. 7.5. So that's almost two rooks. Well, it's more like two pieces and a pawn and a pawn. Knight H7, just to drop a cheeky one. Bishop G7 and Bishop D3 deploying the last contestant. I don't know. Queen D2 looked like a cute idea in case take King F8. Then we have got a Matutsky on H6 already. But yeah, this should be all perfectly fine. And all G95, Queen E2. And again, note that we're not caring the slightest bit about losing the pawn or in fact the bishop. Because what we focus on is to retain the grip on the position, and so black can't escape. And here is another great move. After Queen A5, you just go like King F1. Oh, but then I can't castle. Yeah, because this guy can, right? Who cares if he can't castle? The rooks are not going to be important for the foreseeable future, and it's very easy to castle by hand in similar scenarios, so no problems whatsoever. Knight C6, and this is the point where I think we could have cashed in already on a winning sequence by take, check, and after King F8 comes Queen E3, and the pawn is not going to be defensible here. And if G5, then comes H4, and we rip the position apart, and the Matutski is incoming. The Matutski is incoming. So that would have been slightly more accurate than the text, which was Bishop E4. Frankly, I'm not sure if I understand this move. That's the first one that I don't get, because we don't want to take on C6. And if we don't want to take on C6, then why do we go to E4? Perhaps Tindy wanted to do this. But that seems to be a little bit difficult to execute. Takes, and Bishop E7. And that's an unfortunate blunder on our side, according to the Mighty Machine, who wants to play Queen F3 with the very dirty idea of take, Queen F6, and going in for the mate on E7. And actually the only measure against this is to take on F6 right away, and after Queen F6, Queen D8 is playable. This is the best move for white, by the way, and after Queen takes D4, the carnage is going to ensue on F6. Note that we are not going to go with the knight and then take this, because that would trade off one of our most potent attackers. And now, although black is still dead lost, the hopes are coming back. This is the textbook case of initiative versus material. This retains an absolutely raging attack and a hopelessly stuck position for black, instead of cashing in on that absolutely silly G8 rock. Alright, so moving on. Bishop E7. This is a little bit inaccurate, and when I say it, what I mean is that it's actually an outright blunder, because now black gets out. And we should not have allowed this to happen, ever. So yeah, that was a very, very unfortunate one. Although, absolutely amazingly, G4 here still holds the advantage for white. But this is already an extremely difficult move to find, with the idea of take, and then the Matutski is difficult to hold. Although there is Bishop E5 here, so yeah, this is now when we enter the realm of Alpha Zero style of chess, when we are banking on a complete bind without any imminent threats. Best move is H4. That's not exactly what you would want to do when you have a piece down and then just casually chuck a pawn up, with the very apparent plan, by the way, of coming in from here and then Queen G6 and Rook F8 mate. Beautiful it is, but it already requires immense calculation, vision, and a fair deal of bravery as well. So, yeah, that was unfortunate, but the opponent misresponded with Knight B8, allowing us to restore the status quo by playing Knight F6 check, in fact eliminating the best defender. Queen G4 was a bit meh, but we will run with it, and after H5... See the smile? See the smile? Brace yourselves, ladies. Boomski! That is an absolute... Boomski! That's what we play chess for, ladies and gents. Moves like this is why you pick up that box that is packed with 32 pieces, 16 painted black, 16 painted white, and you set them up. And off you go against the enemy king. That is how you roll, ladies and gents. What an absolute banger of a move. Of course, FG6 is met by the checkmate G6, but that is by no means the end of the fireworks, because opponent played Queen E5, allowing us a very stylish execution. Knight F6 chook, forcing the opponent to give up the lady. Queen takes F6, Bishop F6, and now you might think that, oh, but now they can take out Queen 2. Nay. Because here comes the coup de grace, Bishop takes G6 check, and after King F8, that king still got what it deserved. An absolutely spectacular checkmate, whilst our good friends are watching from the distance, absolutely unable to offer a helping hand. A marvelous finish that could easily pass for a Morphy game. All I can say is cheers. Make sure you hydrate like a champion. And you play like a champion. Thank you very much for Tindergirls, aka El Gambito de Bertin, for submitting this marvelous game. This is the right spirit to play chess, ladies and gents. You go for the throat and you don't take prisoners. Fantastic game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. By the way, Tindy, aka El Gambito de Bertin, is also one of us, an adult improver, so kudos for him for playing such legendary chess. Thank you very much for watching. I will be back with more soon. Don't forget to check out my shorts as well as my regular videos. Please don't forget to sub, to like, to super thank, and do all those things, and I will be back with the next video soon. Bye.